Exploring Roman Catholic Beliefs. Episode 1, The Ten Commandments, the Catholic Code of Conduct. In every generation, people have asked the same questions. How should we live? What does it mean to live rightly, not just for ourselves, but before God, before one another, and before our own conscience? For Catholics, the answer begins with a simple but profound code, the Ten Commandments. These aren't just ancient rules carved into stone. They're a spiritual architecture, a way of ordering life so that peace, dignity, and purpose can exist together. In this episode, we'll explore each commandment, what it meant in biblical times, what it means for Catholics today, and how these timeless principles still speak to our modern hearts. Let's begin with the first commandment, the foundation of all the rest. The first commandment. I am the Lord your God. You shall not have strange gods before me. This commandment isn't just about religion, it's about loyalty of the heart. In Catholic teaching, to have no strange gods means to keep God at the center, to worship nothing above truth, love, and conscience. In the ancient world, people bowed before idols of stone. Today, our idols are less visible, but just as powerful. Money, fame, ego, comfort, even ideology. These can quietly take God's place in our hearts. Faithfulness to God means keeping perspective. It means remembering that everything good, success, pleasure, freedom, only has meaning when it serves love and truth. The first commandment isn't a restriction. It's Sabrix alignment. When God is first, everything else falls into its rightful place. The second commandment. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. The second commandment is about the power of words. In Catholic thought, the name of God represents God's presence, God's truth. To misuse that name, through cursing, false promises, or careless talk, is to treat the sacred as ordinary. But it's more than about swearing. It's about integrity. Your word is your character made audible. When you speak dishonestly or use sacred things lightly, you diminish your own authority. Reverence begins with speech. When your words align with truth and respect, you're already living in harmony with God. The third commandment. Remember to keep holy the Lord's day. This commandment is a reminder that we are not machines. God commands rest, not as punishment for labor, but as protection against burnout. For Catholics, Sunday is sacred because it celebrates the resurrection, the victory of life over death. Keeping the Lord's Day holy means stepping out of the endless noise of work and consumption and into quiet renewal. Mass, family, reflection, gratitude. When we rest, we acknowledge trust that the world can turn without our constant effort. The Sabbath is God's way of saying, you're more than what you produce. The fourth commandment. Honor your father and your mother. This commandment is about gratitude, respect, and continuity. It reminds us that life is a gift, and that the people who gave it to us deserve honor, even if not blind obedience. In Catholic teaching, this extends beyond parents, to mentors, elders, teachers, and those who carry legitimate authority. Respect keeps the social fabric from tearing, but the commandment cuts both ways. Parents and leaders are also called to be worthy of that honor. To lead with love, fairness, and truth. When respect and responsibility flow in both directions, families and societies thrive. The fifth commandment, Sapaben, you shall not kill. This is more than a prohibition against violence. It's a declaration of the sanctity of life. Every human being carries the image of God, from conception to natural death. That's why the Church defends life so fiercely, whether threatened by war, abortion, euthanasia, or hatred. But, you shall not kill also reaches the heart. It forbids anger, cruelty, or indifference, the quiet forms of violence that corrode the soul. To respect life means to nurture it, to forgive, to protect, to build peace. Each act of compassion is obedience to the fifth commandment. The sixth commandment. You shall not commit adultery. This commandment protects love, not limits it. In the Catholic vision, human love mirrors divine love, faithful, creative, and whole. Adultery wounds that mirror. It replaces covenant with appetite, honesty with deception. But the commandment isn't only about marriage, it's about the integrity of the heart. Purity doesn't mean repression, it means clarity. Your body, your words, and your intentions should all tell the same truth. When love is faithful, it becomes freedom, not bondage. The seventh commandment, you shall not steal. This commandment speaks to justice, not just property. To steal is to take what is not yours, but in the broader sense, it's also exploitation, fraud, or greed. Catholic teaching says everything we possess is entrusted to us. Not owned absolutely, but managed responsibly. The seventh commandment calls us to fairness in work, honesty in business, and generosity in sharing. You honor this commandment not only by what you don't take, but by what you give back. Real wealth isn't measured in possessions. It's measured in integrity. 8. The eighth commandment. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Truth holds the world together. Without it, trust collapses. The eighth commandment forbids lying, gossip, and slander, but its reach goes deeper. It calls for truthfulness in word and deed. In Catholic thought, truth isn't just accuracy, it's faithfulness to reality. When you lie, you tear the fabric of trust. When you speak truth, you build community. In a world drowning in half-truths and social media noise, this commandment is revolutionary. To be a person of truth is to be a light in the fog. The ninth commandment. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Here we move from actions to desires, from outer conduct to inner discipline. Coveting means more than attraction. It means wanting to possess what is not yours. This commandment protects relationships from the corrosion of lust and envy. Catholic teaching doesn't condemn desire, it calls for mastery of it. Purity of heart is not about fear, it's about freedom. When love is guided by respect, it becomes creative instead of destructive. The ninth commandment teaches that true love honors boundaries, because love without respect isn't love at all. The 10th commandment. You shall not covet your neighbor's goods. This final commandment returns to the heart, the birthplace of every action. Envy and greed are poisons that rob peace of mind. When we compare, we despair. The 10th commandment invites us to choose gratitude over jealousy, generosity over hoarding. Trusting in divine providence means believing that we have enough, and that more won't make us more whole. Freedom from envy restores joy. Gratitude restores balance. When you stop coveting what others have, you finally see the abundance that's been yours all along. The 10 Commandments aren't just rules, they're a roadmap. They move from obedience to love, from restraint to freedom, from fear to faith. They begin with God and end with the human heart, teaching us that holiness isn't an escape from life, but the art of living it well. In a noisy world full of distraction and division, these ancient words still whisper truth. Live with reverence, speak with honesty, love with fidelity, and let gratitude be your peace. This is the Catholic code of conduct, timeless, demanding, and profoundly human.